New York City, summer of 1977. A city in chaos. A blackout, a heat wave, and a monster stalking the streets. When police finally arrested 24-year-old postal worker David Berkowitz, the city let out a collective sigh of relief. The .44 caliber killer was caught. Case closed. Or was it? What if the man sitting in prison for the last 50 years didn't pull the trigger every time? What if David Berkowitz was just the fall guy for a network of killers that remained free? This is the story of the children. And the conspiracy that suggests the son of Sam wasn't just one man. This alternative narrative was the life's work of investigative journalist Maury Terry. In his book, The Ultimate Evil, Terry argued that Berkowitz was merely a pawn, a member of a much larger, more sinister organization. Terry believed Berkowitz belonged to a local satanic cult in Yonkers called the Children. Allegedly, this group was an offshoot of the Process Church of the Final Judgment, a notorious group with roots in the UK and rumored ties to counterculture figures like Charles Manson. According to this theory, the murders weren't the random rants of a madman. They were ritualistic sacrifices. They were meticulously planned and executed by multiple people, all designed to create maximum chaos and terror throughout the city. And the most chilling evidence for this lies not in speculation, but in the killer's own letters. In one letter sent to the press, the author didn't just call himself the son of Sam. He wrote, "I am a little brat. John Wheaties, rapist and suffocator of young girls. For years, the public was told that Sam was a neighbor, Sam Carr, and the demon speaking to Berkowitz was his dog, Harvey." It was a bizarre, but simple explanation, but the truth might be more direct. Sam Carr had real sons, John and Michael, and what was John Carr's nickname? Wheaties. When you look at the police sketches from some of the shootings, they don't look like the dark-haired, stocky David Berkowitz. Eyewitnesses described a tall, thin man with curly blonde hair. A man who looked a lot like John Carr, but we can't ask them. Shortly after Berkowitz's arrest, both brothers died violently. John Carr was found shot to death in North Dakota in what was ruled a suicide, though many found it suspicious. Michael died in a mysterious single-car crash in New York. Coincidence? Or were these loose ends being tied up, silencing anyone else who knew the truth? The trail leads here. And Termier Park in Yonkers. A sprawling, Gothic estate with crumbling ruins and dark woods. This is where Berkowitz and the Carr brothers reportedly met, where they gathered with other members of their dark circle. Deep in the woods lies an abandoned pump house, a structure locals called the Devil's Cave. Inside, police found satanic graffiti, evidence of ritual fires, and the remains of mutilated animals. It was a clear hub of occult activity, right in the backyard of the Son of Sam investigation. 4 years after his arrest, Berkowitz maintained he acted alone, but in 1993, he sat down for a prison interview with Maury Terry, the journalist who had pursued this theory for over a decade. In that interview, Berkowitz dropped the bombshell. He said, "I did not pull the trigger in every shooting." He admitted the cult story was true. He claimed he was often just the lookout or the driver, while other members, including the Carr brothers, did the killing. He confessed to being a part of something much bigger than himself. It's a terrifying story. But is it true? The NYPD and the district attorney's office say, absolutely not. To this day, the official narrative is that David Berkowitz was the one and only son of Sam. Their strongest evidence is ballistics. Every single bullet recovered from the victims. Every .44 caliber shell casing found at the crime scenes. All matched one gun, Berkowitz's .44 Bulldog revolver. If there were multiple shooters, they would have had to pass that same gun back and forth between different crimes, across different boroughs, on different nights. Police say that's a logistical nightmare and highly unlikely. Furthermore, psychologists argue Berkowitz is a pathological liar, a narcissist desperate for attention. First, he blamed a talking demon dog. Then, he said he was alone. Then, years later, he blamed a cult. Critics say he just tells people what they want to hear to stay in the spotlight. So, why does the theory persist? Why do so many people, including some of the original investigators, still have doubts? Because it answers the uncomfortable questions that the official story glosses over. How did one man, who was a notoriously bad driver, evade the biggest manhunt in New York City history for over a year? Why did so many witnesses see a tall blonde man when the suspect they arrested was short and dark-haired? Why did the killer's letters mention other names and hint at a group? Was David Berkowitz a lone wolf, driven mad by his neighbor's dog? Or was he just the only one who got caught, the face for a conspiracy that dissolved back into the shadows? As history views it today, it's likely a mix of truth and the satanic panic that gripped the era. But in the dark corners of Yonkers and in the minds of those who lived through that summer of fear, the question remains. Thanks for watching.